I think that One Health has important impacts both for long-term issues, which is primarily how we had been thinking or conceptualizing the problem, as well as some of these acute short-term emergency situations, such as those that we're seeing right now in the Philippines, because we have multiple different crises that are occurring across multiple different areas of health all at the same time. Risks to infrastructure that can increase the risk, for example, of increased microorganisms in the drinking water supply. Risks to growers' fields and what that means as far as food production, food supply, damage done to grocery stores, damage done in so many different ways that encompass all of the different areas of One Health that we all together are interested in. We've traditionally looked at it from the perspective of how we can mitigate problems on a long-term scale, but on the short term, the integrative approach, recognizing that all of these risks are co-occurring and understanding that we need a systematic approach, is very much relevant to the types of crises that we're dealing with today in the Philippines. The question had to do with the current agricultural crises as a result of the catastrophe that has just occurred in the Philippines and how long it takes to recover from such a situation. And the answer is that it depends. It depends on the resilience of the system. There is a growing literature in understanding how different societies, different communities, how quickly they can overcome these types of shocks. That type of literature has looked at issues such as, for example, the availability of short-term aid, but more specifically, the coherence of the community, the availability of additional resources from neighboring communities, the willingness to share, there's many different aspects of resilience, and there's a large literature on that right now. I don't think that it can be possible to take any other single example and say this is how long it will take. What for me would be a successful outcome from conferences like this for my field, which is in food safety and food security, is the link to human and animal health. We oftentimes take it to the level of nutrition. We might say, well, these particular foods provide this many more calories, this much more protein, this much more vitamin A, but it's rarely taken to the next step, which is what is the population health outcome? Does this actually lead to lower mortality rates of children under the age of 5? Does this lead to lower maternal and infant mortality rates? Those types of outcomes are most certainly linked to food safety and food security, and yet rarely are these areas studied together. And at conferences like this, at One Health, we are talking about all of these different areas together, and so it's a great opportunity for collaboration, for integrative thinking, and that's what I get out of such meetings.